CLNS Media, Patriots Roundtable, Nick Qualley and Mike Molyneux, Marv Azan. And the Patriots, guys, this is the worst it has felt to be a Patriots fan in a long time. Basically, my entire life. I'm 26 years old. I don't know anything else but winning. I don't know anything else but Tom Brady. I very vaguely remember Drew Bledsoe when I was younger. I was like 8, 7 years old when Tom Brady took over. I barely remember anything. I was stupid back then. Still am. The Patriots, they're not looking great. They really don't have a succession plan here at the quarterback position, clearly. The defense has the potential, guys. Very underrated topic. The defense has the potential to be in shambles next season. Hightower might be gone. You already don't have a defensive front. Who knows if Patrick Chung's going to come back? Devin McCourty could even retire. You might be losing a lot of guys on defense. And just looking at where the team's at right now, guys, the question is, how much of the Patriots' struggles, let's say specifically this season, can be blamed on Bill Belichick, the general manager, not the head coach, the general manager? Mike, let's start with you. What do you think?
I don't want to seem like I'm bashing Bill Belichick here at all, because that's not what it's all about.
You gotta bash him. You gotta bash him.
But I will say, to have a season where, because let's be honest, Patriots have had a lot of success over the last 20 years, and even seasons where us as Patriots fans and us watching the games, we'll probably look at the team and the offense and we'll be like, man, this isn't one of the best Patriots teams we've seen, or this offense is lacking something, or this defense is lacking something. Somehow, some way, over the last 20 years, Patriots have found their way into Super Bowls. They find their way into AFC Championship games. They continue to find a way over the years, no matter how much as fans we look at the team and be like, they're missing something on offense, or their pass rush sucks, or the secondary or something. They have found a way.
Can I say this real quick? I think that way is Tom Brady.
Tom Brady has had a big hand in that, but at the same time,
pretty large.
What I mean to say is, it's a huge drop off from that success to a season where you're at the bottom of the barrel, not only in terms of the AFC, but in the league. You're at the bottom of the barrel. Like, you're easily considered one of the worst teams in the NFL in the 2020 season. And a lot of that falls on the team Bill Belichick has put together. Now, he's come up with his excuses and said, they've sold out over the last 20 years to be Super Bowl contenders and whatnot. But I don't care how much selling out you do to be successful and whatnot. If you're a good GM and you've had so much success, to see your team fall off as bad as it has, you have to take a lot of the blame. And I got to put a good majority of that on Bill Belichick, because you mean to tell me, and like, it may sound crazy, you mean to tell me you take Tom Brady off this team, and now your team's sitting at the bottom of the NFL as one of the worst teams because you took one man off the team? Because the majority of people believe that if Tom Brady was still on this team, they're probably looking at a playoff appearance. Most likely looking at a playoff. I think that's the majority.
I think that's safe to say.
Majority of people would tell you that if Brady was still on this team, they'd make a playoff appearance still, no matter how bad things look. But you take just Brady off the team. I know you're missing a couple of guys defensively, but you take mainly just Brady off the team, and now you're at the bottom of the league. Belichick, he has to take some blame here, because, again, like I said, the fall off from being such a successful team over the last 20 years to one season, damn, you're at the bottom of the NFL. Someone has to take the main blame. You can say, well, Cam's not good and Josh McDaniels, but at the end of the day, it's the team that Belichick has put together in this 2020 season. And the team, I'm not talking about specific players or offensive coordinators or whatnot, the team has not been good under Belichick this season.
Right. And when you look at the roster, Belichick, the GM, put together this roster.
Exactly.
And Belichick, the GM, put together this putrid receiving core. I'm looking at some of the draft picks, and a lot of it has come with the draft over the past 5 years, because Belichick gets a lot of flack for his drafting, which I get at times. But For his first, let's just go from 2000. First round draft picks: Richard Seymour, great. Ty Warren, solid. Vince
He hits
Wilfork,
defensively, whew.
yes. Vince Wilfork, hell yeah. Logan Mankins, yes. Ben Watson, Merriweather, Lawrence Maroney, ugh. Gerard Mayo, Devin McCourty, Nate Solder, Chandler Jones, Dante Hightower. 2015 is where things take a turn. Malcolm Brown, Isaiah Wynn. Fan of Isaiah Wynn. He does not belong in this negative category. Sony Michel, about to lose his job. N'Keal Harry just showed up for the first time this past week. So it might have been his first game of his career. I think that's a big part of the problem is the draft, guys. Over these past 5 years. Oh my goodness. I hate to bring this up again. I really do. But DK Metcalf, I would have drafted him just based on the size of that guy in that picture that went viral before the draft. He's a monster. And also, AJ Brown, massive Patriots fan. That guy's cheering you on. You don't draft him. Besides, you go for N'Keal Harry. You take N'Keal Harry instead. Sony Michel's on the board. The guy who's got chronic knee issues. Marv, we did that draft night show when they took Sony Michel. I pronounce it Sony Michael. The guy, one of the number one draft notes was the guy's just got terrible knees. Your running back's got terrible knees. And they were like, sure, let's take him. He's played maybe 3/4 of football. Obviously exaggeration, but it's probably somewhere close to that at this point. Marv, what do you think? Belichick, the GM, is he the main culprit here for why the Patriots are pretty terrible this year?
He is, man. His deodorant ran out. And Tom Brady was his deodorant. You know, sometimes when you have that stench, deodorant just saves you. You put it on, and people won't even know that you've been stinking up the joint. For 20 years, Belichick's just been using that deodorant. Eventually, the deodorant runs out, and he didn't go to CVS, Walgreens, BJ's, whatever, to get some more deodorant. He saw something in the street, thought he could put it on, and now we caught you, Belichick. We caught you. You stink. You stink. You're starting to stink up the joint. So he needs to regroup. He has some pieces, some defensive pieces. I like who he drafted so far defensively. Offensively, Nick, you pretty much went down the list. It's bad. It gets real dark. And Cam had nobody to really throw the ball to. I thought, going into the season with Cam Newton, James White was going to be effective. We had high hopes for N'Keal Harry. That didn't work out. Jacoby Myers and Damiere Byrd, these are really number 3 receivers on decent teams playing the 1 and the 2. It's really tough. We haven't seen nothing from Dalton Keene, nothing from Assisi. Like, what is going on?
People were so excited for those two. Come on, man.
And it seems like when you draft an offensive player outside of like Sony Michel, you don't really see them till the next year after. So maybe Dalton and Devin Assisi will, they'll have their emergence next season because that's what it seems like you have to do in this offense. But it's bad. Belichick, obviously he didn't see COVID coming. He didn't see 8 players opting out. And I think, missing a Hightower and Chung, those veterans definitely hurt. But at the end of the day, fellas, this offense, he needs to bring in, I don't know if he needs to bring in a better scout, bring in better offensive coordinators, someone who can work with these young players because it's not working out. And this is what happens when you don't have Tom Brady, who was able to work with less and make magic out of it. The magician's gone. What are you going to do about it? We know Bill Belichick is the greatest coach, and he coaches his blank off. But you can't coach when you have missing pieces.
Wait a minute.
A lot of missing pieces offensively.
So are we, the 3 of us, sitting here saying that the Patriots' success over the last 20 years has been all because of Brady and not Belichick?
No.
No.
Not at all. Nice try, Mike.
Just ask me.
We're talking about Bill Belichick, the GM.
Bill Belichick, the GM. I mean, to not have, I can't get over this part, to not have a succession plan. And I guess you might have thought you had a succession plan with Jarrett Stidham, which is why Belichick just kind of let Tom go, even though I don't think Tom ever planned on coming back. But just looking, especially offensively, just looking at the weapons that you have there, the receiver spot, what you don't have at the quarterback position, the most important position in sports, not just football, the most important position in American sports, the quarterback position. You didn't have a succession plan there. The receiving core is just hot garbage. It is brutal. Your best receiver is Julian Edelman, who's about to turn to dust on the next hit whenever he makes it back. Is Jules coming back this year? Did I miss something?
Shouldn't.
I
No.
think, yeah.
But I mean, Marv, you hit it on the head though. It's the deodorant. It was the mask. Tom Brady really helped mask those deficiencies, especially when it came to the offense. And you don't have that anymore. And Bill Belichick is the greatest coach of all time. The greatest GM of all time? I don't think so. I've never thought so. And a lot of those deficiencies are starting to show themselves now that you don't have that guy, a.k.a. the greatest of all time, Tom Brady, covering those issues, masking those issues. I think it's a real problem. And because there's very little that's even promising for the future. So I worry about the future. I worry for the next couple years down the line. I do. I'm concerned that there's really not much of a bright spot coming for maybe a couple seasons, unless they make some big moves. If they're going to improve this team, it's got to be through free agency. It's got to be with that cap room that you have next season. It's got to be signings like maybe a Corey Davis from Tennessee. It's got to be signings like maybe Hunter Henry. You get maybe those two guys in here, all of a sudden this offense looks a lot better because you've got a solid run game. You have a solid offensive line potentially with Joe Thuney probably leaving the season. Let's see how you fix that. But it's clear that I trust Bill free agency wise. I do. I trust him with those kinds of signings. At this point, in these past couple of years, I don't know if I trust him early on in the draft, first round of the draft. Although Duggar, second round pick, right? Duggar looked pretty solid this year.
I like these rookies defensively, anyways, that have come up, and I think that this defense, I know it has some holes, but this defense is going to be really good in the future.
I've always trusted Belichick when it comes to drafting players on the defensive side of the football. Like, I've never usually questioned his decisions in the draft defensively, but offense is a completely different, conversation for sure.
You want to end this conversation here, just look at the receiving core. It's not good. CLNS Media, Patriots Roundtable. Nick Qualley, Marv is on, Mike Molino. Guys, we're going to be back next week following another I don't want to predict a loss here, but I don't predict good things coming this weekend. This is tough.
Dolphins are good, man. Dolphins are tough.
I don't like being a real football fan. I might just throw it in. I don't want to do this anymore.
I got Dolphins defense in fantasy.
Honestly, I like the Dolphins' chances, not only against the Patriots. Maybe we can get into this on a future episode, maybe over the offseason. I know Tua's caught some heat. I like Tua. I'm excited to see what Tua can do in this league.
Okay.
I think he'll improve. Nick Qualley, Marv is on, Mike Molino. Guys, we will talk to you next week for another set of the Patriots Roundtable. We'll talk to you then. Thanks for watching.